Hello and welcome to this week's Tin Dog Podcast. I say this week's, but obviously I'm going to be doing 3 shows this week. The first, this one, will be reviewing the new DVD release, The Black Orchid, something I was going to hang on until halfway through the new season of Doctor Who, and then review it around the same time as one of the episodes of the new season, not wanting to give away too many spoilers, that has a similar theme, Torchwood Double. That one will be recorded as soon as it's been on BBC Two, which is on Friday night, 9 o'clock. And finally, the third podcast of the week will be, well, you can probably guess what that one's going to be on. Yes, Episode 1, Season 4, obviously, of the little show that we, sometimes like. What's it called? Guy in the Blue Box. Used to be called Rose and her amazing time-travelling northern friend. Doctor Who, that's it, yes. That's on Saturday. I'm recording this at work during my lunch hour, and we're having some building works done, so please forgive me if you hear any banging in the background. Black Orchid is one of those 2-episode classic series Doctor Who stories that sometimes get missed out, similar in many respects to The King's Demons, a Davidson story, Santaran Experiment, all being that they're only 2 episodes long, and collectively their running time is about 50 minutes. Which means when they come out on DVD, they're usually around the £8 mark to buy. So these are shorter stories than usual. So should you shell out your hard-earned cash on something that isn't quite as long as, say, next month's Invasion of Time? The answer is a definite maybe. If we were playing the Friends Name a Doctor Who episode story, this one would be called The One with the Lip, or even The One with 2 Nissas, because this has fallen back on one of those nice little tales of mistaken identity. Or even The One with 2 Nissas, because this has fallen back on one of those nice little tales of mistaken identity. Not wanting to give away too many spoilers, but this is a pseudo-historical. Now, for those of you who are fans of the new series, a pseudo-historical is a polite way of saying it's got no aliens in it. It was the first pseudo-historical since 1966, and I think there's a definite reason why they were phased out. Of course, there have been Doctor Who stories with doubles in the past. We have The Enemy of the World and The Androids of Tara, just to name 2. And for a lot of people, this story is remembered primarily for Peter Davison playing cricket. As you can see from my points that I've mentioned so far, the whole thing is fairly genteel and revolves around a party and a cricket match in 1925 at a stately home. The only science fiction elements of the whole story is the Doctor's TARDIS and the fact that Nyssa isn't from Sussex. Or is it Essex? Either way, she isn't from there, so it doesn't really matter. Even the commentary on this disc, which is Davison, Fielding, Sutton and Waterhouse, which means it was probably recorded around the same time as the Visitation commentary, has no directors. And it's quite plain to hear at least, from the narrative, that they're not huge fans of the story. As always, Fielding talks about what she was wearing, but it is good to hear that she's taking a more positive view of her character and her history in the show, as opposed to the way she used to feel about it some time ago. We all loved Tegan, well, I know I did, and it's good to see the actress who played her seeing her fondly rather than the way it was perceived a few years ago. Adric is not everyone's favourite companion, and for Doctor Who fans of a certain age, they were happy when he left the show. But for Doctor Who fans of another certain age, there was nothing wrong with Adric. He was alright. There wasn't anything appalling about him, and the actor who plays him would be the first to admit in this story he isn't given a lot to do. The location manager even took him to one side and said, "Look, you can't really dance, so why don't we put you over here next to the food and you can eat? And for most of the story, that's what Adric does. He stands at a party and eats in the corner. Not really helping the narrative, but I suppose that's what happens if you have a busy TARDIS. And so we have a nice murder, fancy dress, and cricket-based episode. It's worth getting for the completists amongst us, and let's face it, we're nearly all completists. It's a lovely looking thing, and it has been restored rather well, which brings me to the DVD extras. We have one of those nice locations then and now things. We have some deleted scenes. Well, I say deleted, they're more sort of expanded. There's a very nice one on the film restoration techniques. And of course, there's a coming soon of Trial of a Time Lord. Oh, that got you excited there, didn't it? All that Vervoid nonsense. We'll cover that one when the disc actually comes out. There's an Easter egg. Oh, and there's points of view. Because when Doctor Who had its time slot moved, not that that's happened this season at all, but in the 80s he was actually moved to a day of the week rather than a weekend, there were some complaints, and it's lovely to see Barry Took reading those out. The short documentary that I enjoyed about how we fixed the film quality is well worth watching at least once, because it's nice to see that whole difference between 16mm film and video that always caused viewers such a little bit of a jar. Now I know they did shoot Stones of Blood completely on video, and a lot of people said it's washed out and we need a more filmic look, but I would much rather everything had a continuity of image rather than a jump when everyone was trying to use film and video. That's a personal view, it doesn't really matter to anyone other than myself. Have I rambled? Have a drink. Before I go, I'd like to thank everyone for the donations. Everyone who's given to the running of this show will have a show dedicated to them by name in the very near future. I'd also like to say that this week my ranking on iTunes went from the 5th most popular Doctor Who cast to the 26th most popular for a few days, when there was an error with my account and the name of the podcast was changed. We're now back up to the 5th, and if anyone would like to move from 5th higher up and you would like to leave some sort of review of the show, feel free. Of course, asking for reviews of the shows, and if you're not very fond of it, the review number might push it down the ranking rather than up, so I'm aware that that's a dangerous thing to ask for. Either way, thank you very much for the donations. I'll leave you now with the cinematic trailer for Season 4 of Doctor Who, just to whet your appetite. Be seeing you.
You seem to be drifting, sweetheart.
I'm not drifting. I'm waiting.
What for?
The right man. I've seen him. I've met him just once. And then I let him fly away. If you ever see a little blue box flying up there in the sky, you shout for me, Gramps. Oh, you just shout. He's still out there, somewhere. And I'll find him, Gramps. I'll find him.
You have been listening to the Tin Dog Podcast. Doctor Who and its associated shows are all trademark of the BBC. No infringement is intended. Contact us at tin-dog@hotmail.co.uk.